Hello, movie lovers. This is Does It Hold Up? Oscar Redux, where every single week I pretend to go back in time to tell you who I think should have won 9 of the major categories at the Academy Awards of the year that we're talking about. Last week we did 2014, so this week we're going to 2015. With me, as always, is Emily, the disembodied voice, who will be joining me as an actual participant in just a few weeks, because right around this time is when she started watching more of the Oscar movies, so she'll start having some really great opinions about it. Can't wait until she joins me, but until then, she will remain just a voice, who is going to read to you each award and who was nominated in that category, then tell you who the Oscars chose before I tell you if I think they were right or wrong. When everything's all said and done, or during the video itself, go on down to the comments section and let me know who you think should have won each of the awards. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? What do you think about this just in general? Are you looking forward to the 2025 Academy Awards? Whatever you want to say, write it down there in the comments. All right, let's jump into it. Emily, what's our first category?
We are starting strong with Best Animated Feature. The nominees this year were Big Hero 6, The Box Trolls, How to Train Your Dragon 2, Song of the Sea, and The Tale of the Princess Kaguya. The winner? Big Hero 6.
I love Big Hero 6. I think it's a great film. Do I think it's the best animated feature of the year? Absolutely not. It's definitely not the best animated feature out of these 5. Going with my heart, I would have to pick How to Train Your Dragon 2, because that's my favorite animated trilogy of all time, but I don't know if I can reward the middle of a trilogy, so I'm not going to give it the award. I would love to, and it would make nothing but my heart happy, but something else that would make me extremely happy is let's go ahead and give it to The Box Trolls. This movie is phenomenal on every single level. Claymation, stop motion, whatever you want to call it, is one of the coolest art forms out there, and I don't think it gets recognized nearly enough, especially at this award show. So let's go ahead and give it the award for this year because it's totally deserved.
Moving on to Actor in a Supporting Role. The nominees this year were Robert Duvall, The Judge, Ethan Hawke, Boyhood, Edward Norton, Birdman, Mark Ruffalo, Foxcatcher, and J.K. Simmons for Whiplash. The winner? J.K. Simmons, Whiplash.
They are 100% correct. Academy, you are 100% correct. You were on his tempo, and you gave him the award, which is the best thing you could have done, because this performance transcends the movie itself. When you think of Whiplash, you think of this performance by J.K. Simmons specifically. You don't think about him sitting on the ground looking through CDs or the car crash, or this performance is what stands out from this movie, and it's why it's so richly deserved, and great job, J.K. Simmons.
Actress in a Supporting Role. The nominees this year were Patricia Arquette, Boyhood, Laura Dern, Wild, Keira Knightley, The Imitation Game, Emma Stone, Birdman, and Meryl Streep, Into the Woods. The winner? Patricia Arquette, Boyhood.
I don't really care for any of these performances. You could give it to any of them, and I'd be like, okay, I don't really care that much. I just don't think these performances really stood out. I don't think many major female performances stood out this year in a supporting role. There's some good lead roles this year. So I don't really know who to give this award to. Give this award to. I don't think it's Patricia Arquette, but because I can't come up with anybody better, No. That's such a cheap thing to do. That's such a cop out to not actually pick somebody. So I'm gonna take it away from Patricia Arquette, and I'm gonna give it to Keira Knightley for The Imitation Game. Do I think she's phenomenal in that movie? Yes, I think she's an incredible actress. She's very good. It's a very good movie. I think she might be the best out of these 5, though. If I had to go with a second choice, it would probably, I don't know, Emma Stone for the Birdman, or Birdman, The Virtue, whatever it's called. But I'm going to go with Keira Knightley because it's just the safest pick out of all of these.
Next is Actor in a Leading Role. The nominees were Steve Carell, Foxcatcher, Bradley Cooper, American Sniper, Benedict Cumberbatch, The Imitation Game, Michael Keaton, Birdman, and Eddie Redmayne, The Theory of Everything. The winner? Eddie Redmayne, The Theory of Everything.
Wrong. Eddie Redmayne's good actor. I don't think he's ever been in anything good enough to win an Academy Award. I don't think he's really ever reached quite that level. I'm giving it to Michael Keaton for Birdman. This was such like a meta movie for him, and everything he had to go through, and I'm sure it took him through a lot of emotions that he actually felt in real life back in the 80s and 90s when this type of thing kind of sort of happened to him. So to bring that all to screen, and we follow this character the entire time. And this movie, although one of the biggest gimmick movies of all time of, hey, look, we have minimal cuts, it's all like it's a one shot. No one cares. It's cool, I guess, but like, it's not a good movie, but Michael Keaton is amazing in it. If you watch the movie, it's just for him. Emma Stone's really good, Edward Norton's okay, but it's really him that holds this movie together. That performance is on a whole nother level, so give it to Michael Keaton.
Actress in a leading role. The nominees were Marion Cotillard, 2 Days, One Night, Felicity Jones, The Theory of Everything, Julianne Moore, Still Alice, Rosamund Pike, Gone Girl, and Reese Witherspoon, Wild. The winner? Julianne Moore, Still Alice.
Wrong. We already did that. It's just wrong. There's two performances on this list that are better than Julianne Moore, who's very good in this movie, but Reese Witherspoon was phenomenal in Wild, and she's way better than Julianne Moore in this particular setting. But the person I'm actually going to give it to is Rosamund Pike for Gone Girl, because that movie was a cultural phenomenon when it came out. And she terrified people in this role. Like, she created a whole movement of whatever the hell that this was in this movie, where people were like, is this happening to me? People were talking about they're gonna do it. Like, she brought this character so much life that it went beyond the movie. The character is almost more important than the movie, and that takes a hell of an actress to be able to do it, so she deserves this award.
Next is Writing Original. The nominees were Birdman, Boyhood, Foxcatcher, The Grand Budapest Hotel, and Nightcrawler. The winner? Birdman.
Academy, I don't know what you're doing here. I don't like it. I don't agree with it. I don't think Birdman was the best written movie of the year, at least for the original category, because that distinction goes to Nightcrawler. Yes, that's a weird choice. Nightcrawler is such a unique and interesting film that has a fantastic performance in it, and the fact that Jake Gyllenhaal wasn't nominated at all for his performance in this movie is a crime in and of itself. But the way this story is told is so good that, yes, it's disturbing. Yes, there's phenomenal performances, but at the end of the day, the story is kind of what stays with you here. So I'm going to give it to Nightcrawler, Best Writing Original.
Writing Adapted. The nominees this year were American Sniper, The Imitation Game, Inherent Vice, The Theory of Everything, and Whiplash. The winner? The Imitation Game.
I disagree again. This is clearly not a very good year for the Academy. I think they've only gotten one right so far, at least in my opinion. Imitation Game is good. All these movies are fine. They're fine. There's nothing wrong with any of them. But I'm gonna give this award to Whiplash, because I think that's such a grounded, like, real story without being like a real story. Like, Imitation Game is something. It existed. All of these kind of like existed. Obviously, that's why they're inadapted. But Whiplash is the only one that feels real at the end of the day. And I think it's because of how well the script was written. Everything else that happens in these other movies is a little too fantastical to be believed. They played with the story a little too much. Whiplash just keeps it so real. So I'm gonna give it to them.
Best Directing. The nominees this year were Wes Anderson for The Grand Budapest Hotel, Alejandro Iñárritu for Birdman, Richard Linklater for Boyhood, Bennett Miller, Foxcatcher, and Morton Tildum for The Imitation Game. The winner, Alejandro G. Iñárritu for Birdman.
Do I think this is right? I think the Academy believes it was right. Clearly, that's why it won. I personally am going to give it to Wes Anderson for The Grand Budapest Hotel, because I think this movie is just so much fun. I think Wes Anderson pulled together this delightful movie that nobody really expected anything from. It became such a massive success for him and everybody in it. And the movie just kind of works everywhere. And Wes Anderson, you can tell, put his heart and soul into this movie. And there's no reason that we shouldn't reward that. Alejandro Iñárritu is a good director. I just don't think this was his best outing. In fact, I think if you take away the gimmick of it's a one-shot, a very fake one-shot, because there are many, many cuts in this movie, the movie just kind of falls apart. It's a little boring. It's a little like, who cares? But Grand Budapest Hotel is just entertaining from beginning to end, and that really starts with what Wes Anderson does as a filmmaker with his very quirky, unique style, but sometimes it just works so damn well, and this is one of those examples. So he should have gotten this award, Wes Anderson.
And finally, Best Picture. The nominees this year were American Sniper, Birdman, Boyhood, The Grand Budapest Hotel, The Imitation Game, Selma, The Theory of Everything, and Whiplash. The winner? Birdman.
No. No again. It's hard. Don't think any of these movies are quite stand-outish enough to be like a clear, very clear winner, which makes for a very interesting watch of the Academy Awards whenever that happens. In fact, the 2025 Academy Awards is completely up in the air. Nobody knows what the hell's going to win anything, and it's kind of incredible. I get very excited for things like that. But this year, I'm going to give it to Whiplash because Damien Chazelle did something very interesting with this movie. It's literally just this dude who likes playing drums and then he gets a terrible teacher. And nothing about that on paper really sounds like it should work. It sounds like it should just be, I don't know, a crappy documentary that's 15 minutes long that people were like, I never saw it. But the movie just has so much heart and soul behind it, and just the way it all came together, and you catch J.K. Simmons on the rise here, where people are finally understanding who J.K. Simmons is. Miles Teller gets launched into another stratosphere, mostly because of this movie. Damien Chazelle puts himself on the map as a director because of this movie. And just because it all came together, I'm going to give it the award for Best Picture, even though I'm not sure this was a strong grouping of really great movies. All right, that's it for the show this week. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about it, like I asked earlier. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff so you never miss a video from us. Until I see you next time, just remember to be good to yourself, kind to others, and keep watching movies.